Let's dive right in. If you've ever stared at your messy desk, laughed at a dark joke, or argued with yourself in the shower, congratulations, you're not weird. You might just be brilliant. Today we're exploring 10 everyday habits that people mistake for quirks or flaws, but are actually flashing neon signs of high intelligence. Let's see if you're secretly a genius, or just delightfully weird. Maybe both. 1. Your desk looks like a war zone. You know that moment when you can't find your pen because it's buried under 3 notebooks, 2 coffee mugs, and a single mysterious sock? Well, guess what? That mess might be proof your brain is a creative powerhouse. Albert Einstein had a famously messy desk. When asked about it, he said, "If a cluttered desk reflects a cluttered mind, what does an empty desk say?" Touché, Albert. Studies show messy environments promote creative thinking. Why? Because chaos throws your brain into overdrive, connecting random things in unexpected ways. A stapler next to a pineapple? Boom, new business idea. So next time someone calls your workspace a disaster, just smile and say, "That's not a mess, that's innovation in progress." 2. You laugh at jokes that make people gasp. If you've ever laughed at a dark joke and felt slightly guilty, don't. You're not evil, you're clever. Dark humor requires high-level brain gymnastics. You have to understand the joke, recognize the serious context, then mentally flip it to see the irony. It's not easy. It's mental judo. Studies show people who enjoy dark humor score higher on IQ tests and have lower levels of aggression. In other words, you're not twisted, you're just doing 4D chess with your brain cells. 3. You overthink everything. Replaying that awkward thing you said 2 years ago? Lying in bed at 2 a.m. crafting imaginary arguments? Turns out that anxious overthinking might be a sign of higher intelligence. Researchers found that smarter people tend to worry more. Why? Because their brains are constantly simulating different futures. What could go wrong? What could go right? How to survive a zombie apocalypse, etc. It's not just anxiety, it's advanced threat modeling. Of course, if your worry becomes overwhelming, get support. But that daily mental chatter? That's your genius trying to protect you from life's plot twists. 4. You doodle in meetings. Ever zone out and find yourself drawing tiny dinosaurs in the margin of your notes? Good. That doodle is your brain's way of saying, "I'm still listening, just in my own artistic way." One study found doodlers remembered 29% more boring information than non-doodlers. Doodling keeps your mind just engaged enough to stay focused, without drifting into a mental Netflix binge. It's like mental fidgeting. So keep sketching, Picasso, you're just multitasking like a genius. Now 5, you stay up late. Society loves early birds. But what about the night owls, the ones who come alive at midnight with sudden bursts of genius? Studies show that night owls are often more intelligent and creative. They're independent thinkers, rebels against the 9 to 5, and often come up with their best ideas when everyone else is snoring. Einstein? Total night owl. So if your productivity peaks at 2 a.m. while eating cereal in your pajamas, own it. That's when your brain is cooking up brilliance. 6. You talk to yourself and argue back. Catch yourself muttering things like, "Okay, if I leave now, I can still make it and pretend I wasn't late." That's not insanity. That's strategy. Self-talk is a powerful tool. It helps process emotions, solve problems, and coach yourself through chaos. It's like your brain has its own personal assistant, and sometimes that assistant needs to talk things through. So next time someone catches you talking to yourself, just say, "Shh, I'm in a meeting with my higher self." 7. You're lazy, but things get done anyway. You hate doing things the hard way. Instead, you find shortcuts, automations, hacks. That's not laziness. That's efficiency with a PhD. Bill Gates once said, "I choose a lazy person to do a hard job because they'll find the easiest way to do it." Lazy geniuses don't waste effort. They design systems that work smarter, not harder. If you're always finding ways to do less and achieve more, you might just be a strategist in disguise. 8. You question everything rules. Traditions, instructions. If your first instinct is, "Why do we even do it this way?" You might have that beautiful rebel brain energy. High intelligence often comes with a natural resistance to doing things just because everyone else does. Some of the world's biggest breakthroughs came from people who said, "This doesn't make sense," and changed the rules. So keep questioning, keep tweaking, keep challenging normal. That's how revolutions start. 9. You see patterns everywhere. You notice your friends lying from a tiny voice change. You predict what someone will say before they say it. You solve puzzles without reading the directions. That's not coincidence. That's pattern recognition, one of the clearest signs of high intelligence. Your brain is basically a detective, constantly decoding body language, sounds, visuals, and emotional signals. It makes sense of chaos faster than most people realize there is chaos. If you've ever connected two wildly different ideas to create something new, you're not just thinking, you're innovating. Final thought. So maybe your room's a mess. You laugh at jokes too dark for polite company. You stay up late, overthink, talk to yourself, and look like you're spacing out while doodling. Guess what? You're not weird. You're just wired for brilliance. The world needs more people like you, people who think differently, question everything, and see beyond the surface. So embrace the quirks, lean into your habits. They might just be the very things that make you extraordinary.